In Norse mythology, the realm Valheim does not exist, so where exactly are we and what are we doing here? Let's have a look, shall we? Hey guys, Casual Critic here, and today we'll be looking into the lore of Valheim. This morning I woke up, had a coffee and started playing some Valheim, and I was like, where the hell actually are we? What am I doing? What am I doing this for? Basically, what the hell is going on? And I can tell you this much, it's not hell, because hell in Norse mythology is actually called Helheim, and that's a completely different place. The game actually gives us a brief explanation, but before we dive into that, let's quickly summarize the world of Norse mythology, in which, if you haven't noticed, Valheim is taking place. So, Norse mythology describes 9 realms, all connected through a giant world tree called Yggdrasil. And that's actually the tree you see if you look upwards in Valheim, if you look up to the skybox. So it's 9 realms in total. Let's go through them real quick. And we'll do that with the support of this amazing painting by Sam Flegel called Yggdrasil the World Tree, which you can order on faithfulscience.com. Check out his art, he has some great Viking art which ties in perfectly with Valheim, so check him out. But he will be helping us today illustrating the world of Norse mythology. Realm 1 is Asgard. Asgard is the realm of the gods. This is where our good friend Odin lives along with his brethren, looking down upon us, judging, and if we prove ourselves in life and if we die valiantly in battle, we may even join him in Valhalla, which is basically heaven, which is located in Asgard as well. Realm 2 is Alfheim. Alfheim is a place of light and beauty, and where light elves originate from. They tend to be on the sidelines of most things happening in Norse mythology, but they are responsible for art, music, and all kinds of creative things in general. Realm 3, Jotunheim. Jotunheim is the realm of the giants, or the Jotun. Basically, giants are the source of life in all Norse mythology. They even birthed life to the Asgardians, the gods. But the Asgardians, once they become stronger, overtook the giants and banished the ones still allowed to live to Jotunheim. It's basically a prison of chaos where nothing is quite what it appears to be. And it's also nice to know that Loki, god of mischief, is a Jotun as well. Realm 4, Midgard. Midgard is the realm of men and where we originate from. Midgard is created specifically for men as they are so fragile and needed protection from the other realms. It's surrounding Yggdrasil, the world tree, and is in direct connection with Asgard through the Bifrost or the Rainbow Bridge. Edges of Midgard are continuously guarded by Jormungandr, the Midgard serpent, son of Loki by the way. Realm 5 is Svartalfheim or Nidavelir. Svartalfheim is the realm of the Dark Elves, or the Svartalfer. Some say it's also home to dwarves, and yet others say dwarves and Svartalfer are exactly the same beings. This is the reason the realm is sometimes called Nidavelir. It's actually the home of the dwarves, and it could be the same realm with just a different name. Since we already have a dwarf in the game and Svartalfer are mentioned separately on the roadmap of Valheim, for this specific game I consider them as completely different beings. It could however still be that they originate from the same place, which is either called Svartalfheim or Nidavelir, depending on who you ask it. Svartalfheim is located beneath Midgard, home of men, far beyond any length men would or could dig. It's a place of darkness basically. Realm 6, Musplheim. Musplheim is the realm of primordial fire, covered in lava, fire or ash. Together with Niflheim, it's the oldest realm in Norse mythology, and Musplheim is guarded by a fire giant called Surtr, who is unable to leave the place until Ragnarok starts taking place, which is basically the end of the world if you do not know that. Realm 7, Niflheim. Niflheim is the primordial realm of ice and the oldest realm together with Muspelheim. These two realms touching actually created the first giant, which originated all life in Norse mythology. It's covered in an icy mist and therefore also sometimes referred to as the Misty Realm. It is also the place where all rivers originate from, and it houses one of the wells that sprouted Yggdrasil, the world tree itself. Realm 8, Helheim. Helheim is situated between the roots of Yggdrasil, the world tree. It is the land of the dead, and anyone who didn't die in glorious battle and was invited to join Odin in the Valhalla is sent to Helheim. It's basically, well, hell. Although the name most likely comes from the ruler, and not necessarily Hel that we know, but the ruler of Helheim, daughter of Loki, sister to both Jormungandr the Midgard serpent and Fenrir Lord of Wolves, Hel. Realm 9, Vanaheim. Vanaheim is an alien realm, where the Vanir gods, the lesser deities, come from. They were in direct war with the Asgardians of Asgard. Vanaheim is a mysterious place as it's hardly described in any of the texts. Those are the 9 realms of Norse mythology. But we, a dead Viking, are not in any one of those realms, so where exactly are we? The game tells us briefly during the start of a new playthrough. Long ago, the Allfather Odin united the worlds. He threw down his foes and cast them into the 10th world, then split the boughs that held their prison to the World Tree and left it to drift, unanchored, a place of exile. For centuries this world slumbered uneasily, but it did not die. As glacial ages passed, kingdoms rose and fell out of sight of the gods. When Odin heard his enemies were growing once again in strength, he looked to Midgard and sent his Valkyries to scour the battlefields for the greatest of their warriors. Dead to the world, they would be born again in Valheim. So apparently, Odin put all his enemies into a brand new 10th realm called Valheim that he created specifically to put all his enemies there and basically rot and die. And then he cut off Valheim, this 10th realm, he cut it off from Yggdrasil, the World Tree, and sent the entire realm of Valheim adrift through space for eternity. However, his enemies are reforming in Valheim and he is sending dead humans to this place to prove their worth and slay his enemies while doing so. If we prove us enough, we may be invited to Valhalla and enjoy an eternity of drinking, food and laughter along with endless battle, it seems. We are dropped off by one of his Valkyries and sent on the quest to slay all his enemies. Well, easy enough. The fact that Valheim, the 10th realm, has been cut off from Yggdrasil and set adrift is very interesting. You still very much see Yggdrasil in the skybox, so we haven't floated too far away from it yet. Which means we aren't too far from the other 9 realms either. The realms were meant to be stuck to one place by ways of Yggdrasil's branches, but Valheim is unique and not stationary, and this may very well explain all the different biomes that we encounter in Valheim, and why they are not called by any of the names of the other 9 realms. On first glance, it may seem very obvious that the Mistlands could be Niflheim, as Niflheim is covered in mist, or maybe even Jotunheim, the realm of giants. It too is described to be covered in mist, and it would explain why everything is so big in the Mistlands. The same goes for the Ashlands, that could very much represent Musplheim, or the deep north being Niflheim instead of the Mistlands. But how would it make sense to have actual different realms inside of a 10th realm called Valheim? It doesn't. However, since Valheim is unique in the way that it's floating free away from the grips of Yggdrasil, it may very well be that we collided or brushed past any of the existing realms. We may have hit Musplheim on our drift, which left the Ashlands on Valheim. Maybe we collided with Jotunheim, making the Mistlands appear. The idea of Valheim not being stationary does provide a great way of inserting the existing 9 realms into the world of Valheim. It gives great flexibility without having to fall into the pit of the how and why other realms could exist inside of Valheim, which is a realm in itself. Or why they could even be so close to Valheim that we can walk into the Mistlands or into Muspelheim, for example. They don't have to explain any of that if they go with this theory. This idea could even explain why some biomes can appear later, like Svartalfheim being added later on potentially, which could be because in our drifts we surely brushed past Svartalfheim, leaving its scratch marks on Valheim. How do you feel about this theory, and what are your thoughts on new biomes they could add based on the existing 9 realms of the Norse mythology? I'd love to hear your ideas. In the meantime, that was it for this video. I hope this was enlightening. If it was, feel free to leave a like, or if you're feeling particularly fancy today, you maybe even subscribe to the channel. You're more than welcome to join the club, obviously. For now, that's it though. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.